All right. Welcome everyone to the top 8 between Chutereve and Mozi. Uh, I am Running Bear. I'm going to be one of your commentators, and then with me I have Void Circuit.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hype! All right, so this is going to be a Crane versus Crab matchup. I'm pretty sure Chutereve is splashing Dragon. I have no idea what Mozi's splash is.
He's got a Phoenix
Oh,
splash.
Phoenix
And
splash. Interesting.
the interesting include here is only one display of power, but two against the waves.
I like that a
Against waves
lot.
is it's a pretty cool card. A lot of uses with the Steadfast Witch Hunter. It's kind of like it's a deck very focused on keeping that Witch Hunter in as many battles as you can, potentially with a Watch Commander, just to try and always have that honor pressure going.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I think that Against the Waves is one of the best Phoenix cards, maybe just the best Phoenix Conflict card. That there are so many Shugenja floating around, and I think the thing that makes that card, like an A rather than just a B in my mind, is that you can bow their Shugenja. I think if it was just readying yours, I wouldn't like it as much, but like if you think about the Dragon Champion being the Shugenja, if you just get to bow that guy for one fate on offense or defense, that is ridiculous.
Absolutely. Unfortunately for this matchup, Crane doesn't have too many great Shugenjas. He has a single Asahina Storyteller, but in 40 cards, it's unlikely we'll see that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm surprised he's only running one copy. I kind of like that card. I think I play 3 myself, but yeah, I'm as a Crane player, I am well aware that the card is not at its best uh, against us. Yeah, Asahina Storyteller, and then I guess you could also bow an Asahina Artisan if you really wanted to, but that doesn't seem like the best use.
Yeah, that might be a little bit of an overcommitment there for that card.
Yeah. All right. Well, looks like Mozi won the roll and elected to put first player on. Or sorry, no, Chucho won the roll and elected to put the first player on Mozi. That's what I meant to say. Uh, Pretty standard. I think second player just has an advantage regardless of clan or matchup. The extra fate, just so much better than having first crack at the rings and that kind of thing.
Yeah, especially because you get to be first player on the second turn, and the second turn is when the rings all get fate.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, definitely. I think you just always want second, even if you're unicorn, even if you really want a specific attack first. Yeah, I don't think I've ever like really seen someone choose to play first.
Absolutely. And we're seeing the Dynasty mulligan go on here. It looks like two coming from Shoot, the ones on the right. So I'm curious to see what he kept. What do you think would be good here in this matchup?
So first of all, as a Crane player, you always keep Brash Samurai every time, 100%. Brash Samurai turn 1 is just, I think, the best card in the game, period. Maybe Bayushi Liar, that card's just kind of dumb, but Brash Samurai early, when it's almost certainly going to be in a conflict by itself, not only is it just a 4-3 for 2, which is incredible stats, but it's also turning on your Voice of Honor. Like the amount of times where I've defended with a Brash Samurai, honored it, they assassinated my Brash Samurai, and I Voice of Honor their assassinate, it's just too many to count, and it's so hard to lose when you have that big of a swing early game.
Absolutely. And for your trouble, you get an honor when the Brash Samurai leaves play,
Yep.
and
Sure
Crab
enough, one of the ones he kept,
might
Brash
happen.
Samurai. Sorry, yeah, you were saying?
Yeah, just it also gives you an honor when it leaves play, and with Watch Commander being a threat coming from the Crab player, it's a very relevant stat.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think Bitmetal's right. The other thing that you want is a 3-drop 2 glory characters, so something like your Doji Challenger, your Kakita Kaizen, your Kakita Asami. Because what you can do is play that with 2 fate and then Brash Samurai with 1 fate, and that sort of spends all 8 and gets you a really established board. And sure enough, that's exactly what he has. He has a Doji Challenger to go along with his Brash Samurai. So
Yeah, it seems like a pretty strong line of play, Brash and Challenger.
yeah.
The Doji Whisper is also another option, which
Oh
looks like
yeah,
he's
looks like
electing
that's
go
yeah.
for.
Yeah, it looks like Doji Whisper. So never mind what I said. He'd rather get the one drop out. I wonder if he's gonna put any fate on it.
Looks like he
Yep.
wants to.
Hmm.
It's facing a little bit of lag, but that probably means no Brash Samurai this turn or no Doji Challenger.
Hmm. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see which one he picks. He could also do less of a fate investment on one of them, but I kind of don't like that. Uh, it doesn't make much sense to me to pay 3 fate for a character and then not put an additional fate investment on it to make sure it sticks around.
We also see here that Shoot is second this turn, so he might not want to bring the Doji Challenger in there because it'll be difficult to use that ability.
That's fair. Yeah, I could just see playing the Bresh Samurai here. And then let's talk about Mozi's side. Just immediately popping in Hida Kasada. This is a card that if you don't have sort of a cheap way to either secure yourself a conflict win or get through that initial counter, can be really devastating in terms of card advantage. If you just have to throw a card in your hand out just to turn off Kasada's counter, you're way behind on value.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see a 1 in 5 here. 1 in 4, so pretty close. Yeah, I think the Crab is immediately going for a little bit of a dishonor strategy.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Uh, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Granted, the only time I've lost to Crab, it was a dishonor loss, but being that far behind on cards early, it's going to make it a lot harder for you to find success in combat, I think.
Definitely. So what's the ring you think you'd go for here?
Um, Void, I would say. If I'm also alternatively air though, because getting the keeper out's nice. Yeah, I think you want to just uh I think if you get the keeper out, then that's something for your Hida Guardian to pump. I think right now Hida Guardian pumping Hida Kasada doesn't make a lot of sense because Hida Kasada is already going to just stomp whatever conflict it's in, assuming it's military. If you use an air ring, and yeah, sure enough, that's what he's going for. If you win this ring, you get out your keeper, and then that lets you boost it with your Hida Guardian, and that's going to set you up nicely on defense.
Yeah, and what he really wants to avoid here is a shameful display because a noble sacrifice could be devastating right now.
That or rally to the cause, because Hida Kasada's political prowess is not not much compared to his ability to just swing a big spiked club in your face. Looks like meditations on the Tau, which maybe not the worst case scenario, but still pretty brutal given that there's only one fate on Kasada right now. If he doesn't have a reprieve or a greater glory or something like that, I guess if he's splashing Phoenix, he wouldn't have greater glory. Losing your Kasada after only one turn is pretty painful.
Yeah, though I think his ability is going to get triggered here because he has to make the choice. Does he want this Brass Samurai to get honored and then get canceled by
Ooh,
Kasada, which
looks
it
like he
should?
just yeah.
Yep. Or Meditations is going to fire.
Mm-hmm. I think you just eat the Brash Samurai. It can honor itself next turn. Uh, I think getting Kasada off the board a turn earlier is worth so much more.
Absolutely. And just hope he doesn't have reprieve.
Yeah, exactly.
There
Though
is a little.
honestly, if Chutereve, the only problem though is that if this province breaks, then Chutereve can't hold on to his challenger, and Hida Kasada is not a good card if you're going second against a Doji challenger because it's just, oh, you're in this political conflict now. It's going to be pretty easy to spend something else to get rid of his counter, and then you just Doji challenger him into the conflict, bow him with your stronghold, and your big champion is doing literally nothing for the turn.
So I think it's currently the Crab's action. Nope, he passes, and we see
Yep.
the meditations go down.
Yeah, so using the Brash Samurai first, and yeah, sure enough. Oh, and now playing as Steward of Law. This has got to
Almost
be
certainly
for
going to see a
shame.
for shame.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. This doesn't make any sense unless there's a for shame. Which also makes me think there isn't a noble sacrifice because it would have been tempting to just put in the Doji, the Whisperer, and see if he dishonors. But yeah, this way, forced to bow, going to lose this conflict, not get his keeper out, and now his Hida Guardian is way worse because it doesn't have anything to pump. That's a really big swing and a really big victory for Chutereve.
Absolutely. And now the water ring is wide open
Yep, I was just going to say.
for shoot. He can swing in
Yep.
with the challenger, and if he has a good chance at winning. Definitely not going to break, especially with a Borderlands fort or whatever it's called down there. But if he wins this water ring, he gets an undefended attack later in the turn.
Yep. Yeah, you're gonna. Yeah, I think you water ring political here. Presumably, you're gonna win that conflict. It's gonna be really hard for Crab to put up a defense. Even if you put up the Heated Guardian, it just gets bowed by the Stronghold. That Ready to Brash Samurai gives you another ring later. It'd be unlikely to see a break, at least on this conflict. As you said, the Borderlands fortifications can just go wherever. But if he forces the Borderlands fortifications to move, then he can attack another exposed province with his Brash Samurai. And depending on the resources he has in his hand, a Bonsai or Fine Katana could lead to a break somewhere.
Yep, and we see Meditations get hit for the Crab player. Doji Challenger, not nearly as big of a target as Kasada, so I think the advantage is definitely in the Crane side right now.
Yeah, this is, it sucks losing your Whisper, but not the end of the world. And compared to something like a Rally to the Cause or even a Shameful Display would be not ideal here because you would get to turn an honor onto the Heated Guardian. Still probably losing the conflict, but anytime you can honor dishonor, it's nice just to kind of try and keep Voice of Honor off as long as you can. Of course, Guardian's leaving this turn, but yeah, going for the break with an Ornate Fan. Not sure I like that decision, unless he has something else, because the Ornate Fan's only going to be around for one turn, and Mozi can just use his Borderlands fortifications to get up to 6 defense.
Absolutely. And good thing to note here, he did not choose to bring the Heated Guardian in there to stop the undefended. I think that's just because he wants to be able to do a counterattack or at least stop this water ring from... Basically, the turns ended right here. He probably should use that to bow the Heated Guardian, and that's
I would ready my Brash Samurai in Chuchereve's shoes. And yeah, Bit Metal, you're right. The Shameful Display still lets the bow happen, but I mean, I guess this is better because the Doji Whisper just goes away rather than being dishonored. But then you also have to consider the honor loss of dishonoring.
So why do you ready the Brash here? Because now it defends instead of being able to... it gives the potential for Crab to get a ring here.
I think you're content to trade rings potentially. Because here's the thing, the Crab can't attack here, and the Brash Samurai is under no obligation to defend because it has to be a political attack, and the Guardian just gets bowed by the Stronghold.
That's fair. That's fair. Good point.
Yeah, this basically gives you another attack with Brash Samurai. I don't think Crab has any realistic way. Maybe you put an Ornate Fan pre-conflict onto your Heated Guardian, but that doesn't seem like a great investment.
Yeah, it's a bit of an overcommitment, especially since it's going away this turn, and I guess, could also get assassinated.
This has got to be the Earth Ring to me. Honoring, I don't see anything useful to honor here. The only thing that's really sticking around that has glory is your Brash Samurai, and he can just honor himself next turn.
Yeah, and it doesn't really matter what province he goes to here. They're all the same, since the Borderlands fortification can hop. All right, and we see Defend the Wall. So it's 5 cards to 5 cards. Crab has lost a province and is not going to have a board next turn. But if he can win this, which it looks like he's trying for with a Bonsai, he might be in good shape.
Yeah, definitely worth bonsaiing here. I think that the risk of something like a bonsai is you're sort of running extra resources into assassinate, but assassinating this Heated Guardian is not worth it at all. It's going away next turn. Chutereve
That's already been used.
Yeah, that cannot. I'm gonna.
Yeah, why don't you message them? All
Easy
right.
easy to forget, given that the honor didn't actually happen. It got countered by the Casada, but it's still considered used in terms of the game's rule that you can only use actions once per turn unless otherwise stated. Yeah, I'm with Joe. Chutrev's DQ'd from the tournament. Bye. Win to red. Done. Wow, that makes my job easy.
Absolutely. So, do you think there's going to be some more commitment here from Crab? It sucks to lose an Earth Ring on a defense.
I think that if Chutrev doesn't have, like, I don't know that Chutrev has any, like, unless it's a bonsai, I don't think it's worth it to invest. Like, throwing 2 fine katanas on here is the only other thing I could think of. I think if you have a bonsai as Chutrev, you do play it. Because even if he uses his stronghold, it's still 6/6. You still, like, attacker wins ties. Anything other than, if you don't have a bonsai, I don't see how Chutrev can safely invest into this conflict. Okay, wow, and he's going for the assassinate. I'm not sure I agree with that. 3 honor is a lot. There are really good assassinate targets out of Crab. The I forget its name, but it's a 2/1 conflict character that sacrifices to get +3 military.
Yeah, the Stoic Gunso.
Yeah, Stoic Gunzo. That's the card I'm thinking of. If you assassinate that, you're way ahead. That said, if he has like a fine katana or a bonsai, he could potentially be breaking here. I guess it would have to be bonsai exactly because of the fortifications.
Quick thing to note here: we saw the reprieve come down onto Casada and immediately let go, and that's gonna suck for the.
Yeah,
that's gonna
suck. Chutrev's way ahead right now. Just seems like he has every answer. Anytime you let go something that, like an attachment that they spent a fate on, you're just ahead. But especially one as pivotal as that reprieve, because he basically just played let go for no fate and killed Casada. Doesn't have to worry about eating the counter next turn. Doesn't need to worry about a 7 strength champion. Potentially Mozi could have flipped another Casada and used the unique rule to win it. Keep him around for another turn. The fact that all of those shenanigans are just gone, I think Chutrev is way ahead. Not to mention, he's also just up a break.
Down on honor though, so it seems like Crab's basically one way out right now is go for the dishonor victory.
Yeah, I'm with you. But Chutrev, the thing is, I don't think he really needs to have a big lead in conflict cards anymore. He can afford to just bid 1 from here on out. And it's really hard to pressure an honor, a dishonor loss when your opponent doesn't need to dig for cards.
Yeah, and we can see the flops come out here, and it does not look great for Mozi. He gets 2 intimidating Hida, both are 3-cost cards, and a steadfast witch hunter. He wants to have the witch hunter out, but he also needs someone to sacrifice for it.
Yeah, this is not looking good. He would, his kingdom for Caillou Envoy right now, but if he has one of those against the waves we were talking about early on, maybe he just brings it out anyway, just as a 4/2 that he can. Oh no, looks like he's going for intimidating Hida. If I'm Chutrev, I'm reading that as no against the waves amongst Mozi's last 2 cards, because I think if you do have an against the waves, it has to be the Shugenja there.
Yep, absolutely. We see the Doji Challenger and a Brash Samurai come out and the Steadfast Witch Hunter.
Wow, that is aggressive. That is bold to put out both with no fate investment. I feel like you are better off as Mozi just putting fate on one of them, just taking it on the chin for a turn, and being able to invest in a more stable board presence next turn, because sure, maybe he can survive this combat, but there's still going to be a Brash Samurai and a Doji Challenger around for Chutrev next turn, and he's going to find himself in the exact same hole, 7 fate and an empty board.
Yeah, not too many options here. Making an attack looks very unlikely for Mozi this turn. He's got 0 fate and only 2 characters. Not looking great.
Yeah, and what Chutrev can do here is just attack with a political water ring. And what does Mozi really do? If he doesn't defend, the water ring bows his no fate characters. If he does defend, they get bowed by the stronghold.
And he
So,
brings in one of them with the challenger,
yep,
bows
that
the other
too.
one. So it's just
Hmm.
political water. I don't know why he's hovering over void. I guess he
Yeah,
wants the fate, but
I
political water makes so much
yeah,
sense.
if you think about political water, if you bow an intimidating Hida, you're basically wasting 3 fate that red spent, whereas you're getting 1 fate off of the fire ring. I think it has to be water ring here. I think anything else is a mistake.
So he's really thinking hard about fire to, I guess, honor his own Doji challenger, which is, I mean, not awful, but when you look at just wiping the opponent's board, that's
Hmm.
very good.
You're gonna get a free. You're gonna get a fire ring. You're gonna get to resolve whatever ring you want with your military conflict if you bow his entire team. So why are you worried about getting the ring now? I think the water ring is at its best on this first turn.
Yeah, and I think you also swing into a new province. Actually, it doesn't matter here. Probably not a new province. If you're going political, I'd probably swing in defend the wall. No way you're
Yeah.
losing that fight.
Yep. I think the safest pick is defend the wall, and it's good to play safe. I think if you're red, you want to defend with 1 and immediately use your stronghold just so that you can't get bowed. And he's using both even. Huh, that's an interesting call. I guess he wants the fire ring.
Well, it prevents. I mean, it prevents a break this turn, right? And you're in a really tough spot. You're probably going to lose at least one province this turn, and if he commits hard to one, then hey, maybe he can get. And he's got the the steadfast witch hunter, so we can also swing in again.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, if I were Crab in this spot, I would cry. I would start with crying, but then I would also just accept that I'm losing a province or two this turn and just play maybe just my Shugenja. Hope to draw a something out of my conflict deck maybe as a sacrifice, and just have some fate invested on the board so that my guy sticks around, and also have a little fate left over in my cup so that I can establish a stronger board presence the next turn. The thing about Crab is that it's that last stronghold that's always the hardest to break because you've got that +3. You can afford to lose 3 provinces. That doesn't end the game for you. I think what does end the game is a play like this where you're so invested in this turn that you have nothing left for next turn and you can never actually recover and get yourself to a stable board.
Yeah, it's really tough without fate. Zero fate on characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs a better flop next turn. Get rid of that Hida and hope for like 2 Caillou Envoys and maybe a vengeful or Vanguard Warrior and like another Witch Hunter or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You gotta just think which is the worst spot to be in: an empty board and 7 fate next turn, or a 4-2 in play, maybe 9 or 10 fate in your cup, and an extra province broken. Like, is that extra province worth the sheer amount of resources you're losing out on? I don't think it is.
Have to agree with you there. We do see the intimidating Hida get sacked to ready the steadfast Witch Hunter, and an attack goes through.
Looks like a void onto the meditations on the Tau, which I guess makes sense. That's one of the advantages of playing no fate, is that meditations doesn't do very much against you. Void conflict, I'm curious whether he's going to target the Brash Samurai or the Doji Challenger, because the Doji Challenger is the more valuable character, certainly. Currently a 5/5, or sorry, 5/7 even, because it has the Ornate Fan. But getting Brash Samurai off the board this turn does seem tempting to me.
Absolutely. You could also say here that the Doji Challenger is honored as well as this Brash Samurai, so Voice of Honor is enabled. So if we see a bonsai, that's likely going to be canceled.
Yep. And I guess this is sort of the problem. This is why Brash Samurai is such a good card, is Brash Samurai starts off winning the conflict, and Mozi has to play a Fine Katana just to recover.
And that Fine Katana is going away at the end of this turn.
Yeah, unless he has another reprieve, which would make this play make a little more sense.
might be his door back in this game. You just got to hope for no second let go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if Chutereve has a let go, I'm wondering how tempted he is to use it on this fine katana, because there are certainly better targets in Crane, but winning this conflict is pretty nice, denying the Void Ring. But no, looks like he's passing. I think even if I have the let go, that's probably the safer decision. When you're this far ahead in a game, and this is true of any game, a good question to ask yourself is how can I lose? And I think the answer is a reprieve on the guy. Oh, it turns out he has an Against the Wave.
Turns out he doesn't. It's a Voice of Honor.
Yeah, turns out Voice of Honor is a pretty good card. And that's the downside of splashing for events that cost fate. Against the Wave is a very strong effect, but if you can't actually get it off, it's pretty painful to have it countered.
Yeah, so do you think we see the Earth Ring or the Air Ring here? Earth Ring helps you with a hand advantage when you've only got 3 cards, but Air Ring basically prevents Dishonor as a strategy.
I would pick Air Ring here. Again, it's just that question, how do I lose? And one of your loss conditions is definitely a Dishonor loss, so grab the Air Ring, give yourself 2 honor. You don't need the card, you're so far ahead. It's unnecessary. 2 extra honor here, I think, really closes the door on any chance for Mozi to win this game, because he still hasn't broken a province. He doesn't look like he's in a position to break a province anytime soon. How does he lose? And I think the only way Chutereve can lose this game is a Dishonor loss. But I guess he's going for Earth Ring. The one nice thing about Earth Ring is it's harder to lose to Dishonor if you just have a huge card advantage over your opponent and can win every conflict.
Yeah, he's also going to get 2 honor from when both of these Brash Samurai leave play, so that's going to be helpful.
Yeah, that's true. He sort of already has a bit of an honor buffer. So yeah, no, with that in mind, maybe it is correct to take the Earth Ring. The Earth Ring is the better ring in terms of resource efficiency, because them discarding a card and you drawing a card is sort of like a 4 honor swing, whereas Air Ring is just a 2 honor swing.
Yep, and the Earth Ring goes off, discards an Ishikan Initiate, Steadfast Witch Hunter goes away. He's only going to have 7 fate this next turn to shoot 10, and no board to a very scary-looking Doji Challenger and a that's it. Just a very scary-looking Doji Challenger.
Yeah, just a real capable of challenging just about anything. I think crabs are splashing Phoenix because Against the Waves would be my guess. That seems like the real reason to do it. What's it called? Display of Power is also interesting as a one of. The nice thing about crab is that when you have fortification, when you have your stronghold, it's really easy to set up conflicts where they're winning but not breaking. And that's sort of where Display of Power is at its best. If the cost of playing Display of Power, there we go, bit of a tongue twister, is that you're losing a province because by not defending you allowed them to break, it's kind of not worth it. When they're just winning but not breaking, the prospect looks a lot better.
All right, so we see another Brash Samurai come out for Chute. That's gotta suck. Yep. That's 3 this game. And 2 Sepun Guardsmen and a Kikita Sami. Probably going to see a Sami and the Brash and maybe a Guardsman or 2. For Crab, I guess we're going to see Suichi and hope for an air win early in the turn and get 2 Keepers out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he is first player, so he can potentially use that covert to secure himself a win. If he gets his Keepers out, that's really going to help stem the tides. The problem I see for him, though, is can he actually win a conflict? I think if you're Mozi, you hope that Chutereve is still worried about an honor loss and bids 1, and you just slam a 5, give up the honor win condition, but hope that you can recover board-wise just with a huge swing in terms of card advantage.
Yeah, and if I could talk here a moment about the Crab's draw, and it's actually pretty bad because he can't play the Borderlands Defender in the Hida He can, excuse me, but he's going to have no fate on either Suichi or them.
Mm-hmm.
He really needs some low-cost characters to help just with these big 4 and 3 cost cards he keeps drawing.
Yeah, I just don't like this strategy from Mozi of playing a bunch of dudes with no fate investment on them. You're spending 4 fate for 1 turn of Kaiju Suichi when, if you spend 5 fate, you get 2 turns of Kaiju Suichi. If you spend 6 fate, you get 3 turns of Kaiju Suichi. It's really efficient to put extra fate on your high investment dudes, and it's if you spend out on a bunch of dudes with no fate trying to stem the bleeding that turn, you just find yourself in the exact same hole the next turn. And I feel like red just keeps digging the hole deeper and deeper by not investing in a sticky board that'll actually hang around and give him a chance to recover the board state.
Yeah, but the problem is with these high cost cards, he gets 1 and only 1 character each turn. And I think this turn he might have been able to get away with it by using Suichi on a political attack and coverting the challenger. But once Asami comes out too, there's no way to guarantee that air ring to work.
Yeah.
Basically what I'm saying is he's in a rough spot.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree. I don't think his spot would be as rough if he just played one character last turn. Like, I feel like I'm harping on this a lot, but it's one of the biggest mistakes I see people make when I'm playing online is it's just not enough of a fate investment on expensive characters. If it's anything that costs 2 or less, you have to worry about assassinate, and so I don't like heavy investments there. But anything with 3 fate or higher is actually pretty safe in the game right now. There's not a ton of removal. It's usually things like Noble Sacrifice, I Can Swim. If you can keep your person from getting dishonored, things that cost 3 or more are usually pretty safe.
Again, agree, but I still want to harp that even if he had the Witch Hunter last turn with a fate or 2 on them, the Witch Hunter would have tried to defend against the wall or something like that because he did have Against the Waves in hand, but he wouldn't be able to ready them because of Voice of Honor, as well as just losing that fight. He would have lost 2 provinces instead of 1 that turn, and he would have a Witch Hunter right now, sure, but he could potentially lose to the stronghold.
A Witch Hunter, but also keep in mind like 2 extra fate in his cup, right? Like if he puts, or maybe just 1 extra fate potentially if he puts 2 fate on it, but spending 3 on the intimidating Hida, that's 3 fate that he could have put on the Witch Hunter and still had for this turn as well. I agree that he probably loses an extra province. I'm okay with that. I'd rather have a board state than 1 extra province because he's just going to lose a province this turn and potentially even lose the game this turn depending on how his attempts to get his keepers out go.
True enough, and we'll see if another province. I think a province is going to come down to getting broken by the crane on Mozi, probably Manicured Gardens or Shameful Display. I think you prefer to hit Manicured Gardens here. But again, I don't see a good way for Crab back into this game with no fate on characters.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. And that's the other thing is I feel like Chutereve can potentially get an end here. The real question, though, is what province do we think is on his stronghold?
That's probably Rally.
You think Rally? Potentially, yeah. Personally, I like not running Defend the Wall and instead putting Ancestral. I think it's Ancestral Homelands. I forget what the exact name of it, but the +5 political province on the stronghold.
Yeah, Ancestral Lands.
Yeah, Ancestral Lands, yeah.
So I think the logic here of putting Rally there and having Manicured, Shameful, Meditations, and Defend the Wall on the provinces is all of them give you actions when you defend. So you can continue to defend, not have the opponent break. Unfortunately, that's not working out too well when you have no fate on characters, but keep defending and try and go for an incremental advantage win.
The other thing that we could consider, though, maybe he has Pilgrimage under his stronghold?
He's not running Pilgrimage.
He's not running Pilgrimage. Oh, we have deck lists. Okay, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually saw that out of a crab, and it's pretty interesting because Pilgrimage is very good when it doesn't get broken. I still prefer Shameful Display for my own deck, but it's really hard to break Crab Stronghold. So you can potentially just sack your 3 strongholds, whatever, and just hope to never lose your Pilgrimage, and they can't grind out value with rings on you because the only place they can really attack is your stronghold.
Okay, and we see a big military swing with both Suichi and the intimidating Hida with air onto the Meditations on the Tau. I don't know about this play fully because he's going to get 2 keepers, sure. But I don't think those 2 keepers are going to be enough to stop the political attack and then even potentially the military attack on the base.
I think you need to accept that you're going to lose a province to a political attack here. I think if you try to defend that, you're just continuing to dig a deeper hole for yourself. I think sack the province. I think this is something that people don't do enough. Strategically sack provinces, guys. Like, you can win games with broken provinces. It doesn't need to be 3-0. If sacrificing a province buys you tempo and buys you time, that's okay some of the time. And those keepers actually will be a pretty good defense if Chutereve tries for a military conflict, because they'll both get +1 off of the stronghold.
And potentially run into Shameful Display.
Yeah, that too.
Which would be able to get them up to a 3 strength, even then 4 strength after the box.
Yeah, and Bitmetal in the chat is saying no reason to defend this. I'm inclined to agree. You maybe put in the Seppen Guardsman, just to avoid losing the honor, but even then, he's kind of better on attack. Like, he helps you win a military conflict potentially. And yeah, because without additional cards invested, this isn't stopping the break. 3-7 currently, but who knows? Maybe Chutereve has something.
And with 6 cards, it's definitely a possibility. And we see his fine katana on the Guardsman.
Preventing the break, reasonable, but I'd kind of prefer this 5-strength military to be used on attack to really try and, pump the gas.
Yeah, close out this game.
Yeah, exactly. My guess is that he has another Voice of Honor Bitmetal, so he's not worried about Assassinate. Like that would explain that to me.
But we can ask here, what can Crab do to get back in this game from this current state? And it's tough.
Honestly, I think it's too far gone. I would
think it's over?
I would put Chutereve on 100% to win this game at this point.
Bold.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I disagree too much here. He's got more cards. He's playing into this. He sees a Miyamoto Fury.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he's just denying the keepers. That makes sense to me. Yeah, Crab really needs those keepers here to have any sort of defense going. Okay, and then he ends up with a Bonsai. I don't Voice of Honor this, I don't think, even if you have it, because you're potentially allowing an Assassinate. There hasn't really been a good Assassinate opportunity for Mozi yet this game, so if he had one in his initial hand, he still would. Yeah, I think it's okay to give up the keepers.
Yep, definitely agree there. 2 come down, and I think we'll see I don't know, what do you think? Political or military here?
Do you mean for Chutereve?
For Chut, yeah. I think Void's not too helpful. Fire could honor Asami. And Earth is also another option. Fire or Earth, that's my guess.
I think I would political water with definitely Asami and possibly the Doji Challenger as well, allowing you to ready your Seppen Guardsman.
For the counterattack or
no, just for the military attack. Like
but if that military attack, assuming you break, right? That military attack will go onto the stronghold.
I guess, yeah, rally to the cause.
Rally.
If you know it's rally. And I guess that's sort of the problem with rally as the stronghold defense is it's kind of telegraphed. Like by the time they attack your stronghold, they're gonna see that you haven't flipped. I forget, is rally air or water element? I
The
think
water.
water. Yeah, water. They're gonna see that you haven't flipped a water element yet, and be hyper vigilant. Okay, well, he is going for the, looks like, I'm guessing political water. The one nice thing here is that it forces, the Doji Challenger can force one of the keepers into this politics defense that is probably going to end up in a break anyway, sort of wasting some of those resources.
Yeah, I don't think I would defend here unless it's a shameful display.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Chucho's having some second thoughts.
I mean, it's understandable. A lot of these rings are useful, save for the the void ring. I think is probably the least useful right now.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean? You get to deny a keeper for one extra turn. That's the most value.
Yeah, it's not like it can come back forever, and he hits the shameful.
So, yeah. Yep. I think you throw up a keeper and first action shameful to deny the. Oh, is he doing both? I don't like both. I mean, I guess the thing is, if you're defending with one, it's going to be both regardless. Yeah, but you know, so you might as well.
Yeah, the bummer here is.
Oh, this is sort of why
the crane box is going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, because he can pull in the other one and then box it. Yep.
So again, just a crappy situation. Shameful probably is first. Honor his, dishonor the challenger. That brings it to a 5-3.
Yeah. One nice thing
probably not going to break
is not a break, but that doesn't really matter if he can just ready his Seppen Guardsman and just break it on the next swing.
Very true. And if you're not going to break, might as well bring in the.
The one other nice thing is that this turns off Voice of Honor. So if he has an assassinate, he can safely assassinate the Seppen Guardsman now.
Absolutely. And also swing in Asami, though, so probably not going to stop the ring from going off, but he can definitely prevent the break.
Yeah. Yeah, Chutereve would need a card Asami plus Imperial Favor. Doesn't break Shameful Display. One shy, but not enough. Okay, and his own Ornate Fan for Mozi on Keeper.
Yeah, it's not a bad play since the Keeper is right now a 5 political strength. Since it's going to last till next turn, maybe he can do some good work with that.
Yeah. Okay, one nice thing I think about not putting in, I think the reason you put your keeper back, the other keeper back, only put one up, is that if you have something like an Ornate Fan, if he pulls in with Doji Challenger, you can respond to that with the fan, whereas if you put it in initially, he gets a free window to box it.
Very true. All right, so both players pass, no break, and the Watering is going to unbow the Seppen Guardsman. No, excuse me, that is a break because it is a 3 strength.
No, it's a 5 strength. 3 plus.
Yeah, 7 to 5. That's not a break.
Yeah, I think they're trying to. Yeah, there we go. I guess Mozi was so resigned to his fate that he just assumed, of course, it was breaking.
Is that a part of the cry strategy that was mentioned by chat?
I think it is. And yeah, math is hard. Indeed it is. Well, think about it this way. 7 minus 5 is 2. 2 rounds to 0 if you're rounding to the nearest 10. And 3 also rounds to 0 if you're rounding to the nearest 10. So they're basically the same.
Of course. So does the Keeper make an attack here? No, absolutely it doesn't. I guess it would be just politics, and that would be immediately tied by the box.
If you attack with a politics, you're basically just giving Kasada a free honor steal.
I assume you mean Asami.
Or Asami, yeah. That's what I meant to say. Alternatively, just no defense in box, and then Asami comes in for extra support on the military, just in case Mozi has an
Assassinate.
Yeah. One nice thing for Mozi, though, is that he is going to have a 5 strength political next turn from that keeper sticking around.
Of course, the downside is the entirety of Shoot's board is sticking around.
Yep.
But he does have 2 fate, and that 2 fate could be very useful.
Indeed.
I think he wants to see maybe a Caillou Envoy or 2. Another Steadfast Witch Hunter wouldn't be awful, but I think he accidentally discarded it when he thought Shameful Display was breaking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is
and because that would have actually been a very big help.
Oh yeah, he has keeper fodder now. Yeah, Steadfast Witch Hunter would have been a great play. And yeah, Shoot attacking with the Asami as well. I do like that decision. Just play around the Assassinate as much as you can.
Yep, and it's got to go to Shameful. Can't imagine you'd want to touch Manicured Garden at this point.
Maybe he doesn't have his keeper after all. A Void Ring on the buffed up keeper would be great here. Sure, the keeper can come back, but it's not coming back with an honor. It's not coming back with a fan.
Definitely agree. Yeah, I think Void seems to be the clear choice here. Go military. Earth is another option since you only have 4 cards, but okay, there we go. This is an interesting play. Definitely going to the Shameful. No reason to risk it. It might be a break 2 though. 5 to 6 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
Bonsais. A couple of those have been played by Mozi. Oh yeah, and chat brings up that he is playing around display power a little bit.
That does make sense. Okay, charge. Huh. I guess you're trying to prevent the break, which, yeah, keeping Shameful around is nice. Kind of feel like Chutereve can just go to the Manicured Gardens in the other slot next turn, though. Like, you're not actually going to get to use the Shameful display again.
There's also it's going to get discarded by the Earth Ring, and I guess if you play all your cards right now, it doesn't matter.
Okay, ooh, Way of the Crab. Interesting. And so, bit of Sophie's choice for Chutereve. Does he sacrifice something that's in the conflict and lose the conflict, or his extremely valuable Doji Challenger? And yeah, it looks like he's just going to give up this conflict.
Okay, it's actually 2 strength, but that's still not going to be enough to overcome. Okay. So all things considered, that was a pretty solid turn for Mozi.
I kind of feel like it's a bit of an overcommit. He spent 2 fate and 2 cards on that. Granted, he got rid of the Seppen Guardsman, which would have hung around an extra turn, but yeah, he's still in a tough spot.
So what do we want to see here? Definitely I keep saying Caillou Envoys, but that gives him fate and cards, both of these things he desperately needs.
Yeah, I think Steadfast Witch Hunter plus a Caillou Envoy would be ideal. Hida Casada, potential. Actually, no, Hida Casada is no good here because Chutereve's going first. So, yeah, he's in tough.
Crab will keep the Brash Samurai. Also makes sense. Maybe on a defense. Kazin, Nirishima. So it looks like he's got a lot of military.
This feels excellent. This feels like an excellent flip for Mozi. Hiruma Yojimbo is fantastically statted when you're focusing on defense. Caillou Envoy plus a Funeral Pyre to get access to the card in the Fate early in the turn. So, use it in the first conflict and then sacrifice it.
And then all of a sudden you have 2 cards, and then maybe a Borderlands Defender with 1 Fate on it, but I could go either way.
I think I would play... I guess the question is, do you want to play around Assassinate here? Because the problem with Hiruma Yojimbo being so cheap is that it puts itself into Assassinate range. That said... Oh, it looks like Chutereve is trying to reset lag again.
It seems to build up over time.
Oh, I guess I can't actually. Are you allowed to search as a spectator? I don't think you are. I think he's played 1 Assassinate so far.
I think that sounds right. I can't quite remember what all's been played.
Yeah, he's going to be spending 1 Fate on the Caillou Envoy for sure. Caillou Envoy for sure. That goes without saying. That leaves 6 left. I could see a Borderlands Defender with 1 and a Hiromu Yojimbo with 0, but again, that's that whole idea of not investing into your long-term board state enough for my taste. The problem is you want to play the Hiromu Yojimbo, but you don't really want to put a ton of fate on it. Like I usually like to put 1 fate on my 2-cost characters.
Yeah, definitely. I Borderlands Defender with 2, Caillou Envoy with 1 or with 0, excuse me, also makes some amount of sense. It's hard to give up that extra stat from the guard, but the Borderlands Defender does have a relevant ability.
That is true. Definitely an unassuming ability, but one that is actually very powerful.
Admit Defeat comes to mind.
Yep. For shame. With the Kikido Sami in play, like potentially. I don't know if Chutereve is running things like Route or Outwit, but those also exist. The one downside of Borderlands Defender is that it doesn't defend itself against Doji Challenger. You can still pull it into conflicts because the effect is only in play when it's actually already in a conflict. But it's nice that you can't then bow it or something like that.
True. I will bring up too that Mozi has 0 cards in hands, which means Shoot can basically just calculate every potential, like defender and strength. So he's going to have a big advantage, excuse me, for, we have to remake.
Chutereve's having trouble finding the game. Yeah, I guess we can just save this state and
yeah, it should be okay.
Mm-hmm. One of the nice features of tabletop.
Yeah, is that autosave feature?
Mm-hmm. Hopefully they'll use the same name so that I can find it easily.
Yeah, it looks like the same name and password.
Not showing up for me at the moment.
Yeah, me either. But Mozi told me it's the same one at least.
Okay. All right. Well, good. I guess it just hasn't been hosted yet. As much as I love to see great comebacks, I'm going to feel like a pretty big idiot if Mozi ends up winning this game.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Hey. I have faith. I have faith Chucho's going to pull it out.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's too many ways back in for Mozi. The lack of board is really the problem here.
Mm-hmm. My fat fingers keep hitting the A button when I go for the Z button, typing this name in. It's happened 3 times now.
Moai.
Moai?
Right, A instead of Z?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Moazi. That's what I've been typing in.
Yeah, still can't find the game. He says it's up. And he has to remake because he has the saved game. A little bit of technical difficulty here.
Yeah, this is. I apologize to all of the viewers for this delay, and And right as the game was getting interesting too.
Yeah, you can get back to that save game if you quit out a tabletop simulator, right?
Yep. Yeah, it should be
Yeah.
able to. It's possible to save the state manually, but it also, I think, auto saves if you leave a game halfway through. Yeah, I'm with Tsukisawa. Is that how you pronounce that? Just restart. Just it was about even. Just start fresh. No big deal. What no, I can't imagine either player would be unhappy with that resolution.
Right. I mean, 100% to 100%, right? So
Yeah,
nothing changes.
exactly. Just pretty balanced. One player down, two provinces, no board state. One player up fate, up cards, up board, up provinces. Pretty even. Fairly, I don't want, I know I said 100-0 earlier, but I don't think you can really pick a winner out of the board state the way we left it. So.
All right. I think he's restarting the game
Yeah,
now.
I seem to have found it. Just inadvertently giving all my viewers the password by typing it in on the stream. So please honor, Scouts honor.
All right, we're back.
Alrighty. Hype. Yeah, well, no harm, no foul.
Okay, both players are in. And Shoot has been promoted. I believe it was... Yeah, the Fate phase. Okay. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll usually go back a little ways when you do this, so gonna have to redo Fate. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Mozi gets the Imperial favor. That's pretty fantastic. Important to note, if you only have a bowed character in a conflict, you still get Imperial favor. So if Mozi sets up an attack with a keeper and it gets bowed, but Chutereve doesn't put up any defenders, Mozi's still going to win that conflict. He's still going to get the ring. Chutereve's still going to lose an honor for no defenders. It's one of the reasons why I think getting favor is especially valuable against Crane. Somewhat diminished by the fact that Crane's really good at keeping control of a favor. And yes, Pocknock, Crab is currently on 0 cards in hand. Used everything he had last turn to win a conflict in order to get that favor.
So the big question here is, what does he bid? Does he bid 5 and just abandon this dishonor strategy and try and get?
I think you've got to. I don't see how you come back into this board state without some tricks up your sleeve. Yeah, I think you slam 5. The question though is, does Chutereve slam 5? Because if I'm in Chutereve's seat, I'm thinking, okay, he's definitely going to slam 5 here. I want those cards too. I think I might also slam 5. The problem with that though is if Mozi sort of goes a level deeper and thinks, okay, he's going to think that I'm going to slam 5, so I'm going to put 1 and make him lose a bunch of honor. You could potentially get him, but maybe you do 3 as Chutereve, sort of play it even. And the other nice thing is that if he does bid 5, if Mozi goes 5 and you bid 3, it's still giving you that 2 extra honor to sort of put yourself out of dishonor range. And yeah, sure enough.
See a 1 and 2.
Oh, sorry, that was a 2?
Yeah.
Okay, and a 1 for Mozi. Okay. Well.
Slams the 1.
Yeah, slams the 1. I know that dishonor is sort of what it looks like your win condition is, but I think right now your main win condition is just not losing. I think you really just need to focus your game plan on avoiding the loss, because you are on death's door right now as the Crab player.
Absolutely. And you see he brought out a Borderlands Defender with 1 and has no fate in the tank.
Yeah, so maybe there's an argument that you're not going to be able to play the cards that you draw anyway, so why bother? And you're also going to get 2 cards off of your Caillou Envoy, Sacrifice to Funeral Pyre, so you're still going to have some options that way.
I could see Crane running into your other province this turn, which is going to be the Manicured Gardens, so you'll gain a fate from there.
Yeah, that's fair.
So if your one card you have is like a charge or something like that, which again I guess wouldn't be helpful.
Charge is pretty bad on this board. Yeah.
Let's say Way the Crab. If you had Way the Crab, you could still play it.
Yep. And Way the Crab actually pretty good here. The lowest invested thing is like a Brash Samurai or a Daidoji Narishima. And
yeah, it'd probably be Narishima. Brash can honor itself and all this other junk.
If you're gonna do that though, it has to be early, because otherwise the Doji Challenger gets used and then immediately becomes a free sacrifice.
So a lot of characters without fate. So the Water Ring has some potential here, coming from the Crane. Fire is also interesting to get your Asami honored, or the Challenger, I guess, if it's not used in this first conflict. But I can't imagine it wouldn't. It should go in here.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Air Ring seems like a very lackluster choice. Earth Ring, also pretty marginal, because he could play his last card.
I kind of dig Void Ring. Just get that Borderlands Defender out of there. Keep Mozi on that constant cycle of no board, investing in the short term, leading to no board the next turn, and on we go.
Yeah, fortunately he does have a pretty decent political fight this turn, with that 5 strength keeper. That's some lag, I think.
That looks like lag to me. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Joe's saying that Mozi just has to wait for Chute to tucker himself out. I have a feeling that Chute tuckering himself out is going to look an awful lot like Mozi losing all his provinces. If he continues to bid low, like, it's going to be really hard to prevent breaks when you only have 1 card in hand to defend. The fate discrepancy is also really bad. I agree with the chat there. Five fate to 0 is pretty miserable. If Chute flips a Doji Hotaru, there we go. He's going to be able to play that and 1 or 2 other characters along with it and just close out the game.
I think we're facing some lag here.
Oh yeah, big time.
But I think, yeah, Void or Water both seem like pretty good choices. Fire also seems like my maybe tertiary choice. Void also has the bonus of having a fate on it. So yeah.
Oh.
Looks like we're reconnecting once again.
Whew. Yeah, that's rough.
All right. Well, this is reconnecting. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, since we have some downtime and I'm currently alone, I'm going to talk a little bit about my thoughts on Crab versus Crane, since that's the matchup we're watching. I hear a lot of people say that Crab is favored in the matchup, but I personally disagree. I think that... I did it again. I think that Crane, if you pilot really carefully, can respond really well to a lot of what Crab is doing. I think that, for one thing, you have a lot of ways to deal with Casada. Doji Challenger, bringing him into a political conflict is always really strong. Yeah, I'm with you, Joe. I agree. Or sorry, yeah, isn't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. Doji Challenger pulling in Casada to a political conflict just completely negating him. I think that if you're splashing Dragon, that means you have Mirumoto's Fury, another really good card against Kasada. Basically, I think Kasada is just a card that Crane has a lot of tricks against.
Sorry. Yeah, do not speak about the game. I'm waiting for Hida Mozi to reconnect.
Okay.
Should someone else rehost the game?
I can try hosting if that works for you.
Yeah, but you need to have the save.
Yeah, the save is going to be an issue.
Oh,
Yeah.
true. Ooh.
Is there a
here's
way
what you
for
can
someone
do.
to
Yeah,
not
you can.
host the same?
If you host, you host it. I'll join it. I'll pick up the save from that, and then I can host it.
Okay, fine.
All right.
Okay.
I'll re.
Well, I'm going back to game 2.
All right,
See you.
sounds good. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if this is a little better. It might work better just because I'm going to be closer to where Chutereve is than Mozi, from the sounds of it.
Yeah, split the difference in lag instead of one of them getting
Yeah.
slammed with it.
Now, can I save it without let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure if I can save right now. Yeah, if that's what I think, Ice Cobra. Okay. How do you save it? I don't actually. I know I've saved games before, but I can't remember how. Maybe being spectator is messing with me. Just take. Well, we don't know. That seems elaborate. Games, save game. Oh, thank you very much. Does this work? All right. Looks like I've got it. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Awesome. Can you tell Mozi to? I guess I can do it on. I'll tell him on Discord to close that one so I can host it with the same thing. And yeah, my stream can learn that I was playing Terraforming Mars earlier today. It's always useful information.
It's a good game.
Yeah, I really like it. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you to the chat for the tech support. I appreciate it. This is all right. Yeah, game is up.
All right, looks okay to me.
All right. See, Joe, when I play Terraforming Mars, I never terraform Mars. I'm just oops, I terraformed Ganymede. Just missed the target. Or just like play a million science tags and just, you guys fix the planet. I'm just gonna be up in my science labs, just doing mysterious stuff, getting points that way. I guess we're just waiting on Chutereve. Anyway, yeah, before we started this hosting business, I was talking about the crab versus crane matchup in general, and why I think it is actually crane favored, despite what I've heard from some people and also what the statistics indicate. Because I know that the stats being collected in the looking for group channel on Discord have. Oh shit! Did someone flip the table?
Go ahead and rewind that.
Yeah. Yeah, let's try not flipping the table. All these delays can be frustrating, but let's try to keep our composure, everyone. Yeah, this looks good. Yeah, I don't get why they added that. Like,
That button's the worst.
Why does it exist? Yeah, how do I lock table?
It should just be right click and lock, right?
I don't think I can do that as spectator though. No, right clicking is not working. Let's try the nobody press F system. Oh yeah, I'll promote shoot. All right, there we go. I've actually heard that Dragon Splash Phoenix is good against Crane. I actually prefer it being a little bit angled, just because it's what I'm more used to. Because I play this game a lot on tabletop, so like if I go to top down, it feels weird to me.
So anyway, back on your discussion topic of crane versus crab and how it's slightly crane favored. I think I tend to agree, because one of the most powerful tools for the crab is being able to threaten honor. And when crane has a slow drip of potentially 12 cards in the deck, giving them extra honor, that being 3 savvy politicians, 3 brash samurai, 3 court games, 3 way the crane. That's a lot of that's a lot of honor over the game that can really help.
Yeah, don't forget
stop
Kakito Asami.
Dishonor. And Asami, so call that 15 cards. Yeah. And Asami is even repeatable. Yep. So yeah, dishonoring a crane is tough.
Yeah. The thing that I was talking about was how poorly positioned Hida Kasada is against Crane, and the last thing I sort of wanted to mention is just how many sort of free actions Crane gets. Like the Doji Norishima is a really nice thing to just, oops, I don't get to flip my dynasty card. I guess you got me with your Kasada. Oh no, now we lost Mozi.
We're gonna get through this. I believe it. I believe.
Yeah, I hope so. I really do. If If Chutereve ends up not winning due to connection problems, and my 100-0 prediction is falsified based on that, I'm gonna feel bad. Not for the the loss of the competitive spirit and getting to see the game through. Just being proven wrong. It's just nope, don't like it. Not a fan. Yeah, Mozi was hosting, but now I'm hosting to see if we can. Oh, and I'll promote Mozi. I don't think promoting is actually strictly necessary for anything other than loading the deck up, but better to be safe.
All right, looks like we're gonna try and get off this void attack here on the Manicured Garden. I don't see Mozi's mouse moving around, so that's not a great sign.
Oh, there he goes. Oh, good. All right, we might be okay. We'll see how this goes. And yeah, no surprises there. Manicured Gardens.
So, losing this fight isn't too awful for Crab. What is most important, however, is to not let that province break.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's pretty doable. You've got the keeper with 5 strength.
6 strength with the favor.
With the favor, true. And you can potentially put in the Caillou Envoy as well, just to make your stronghold a little stronger if you want to do that. Or alternatively, force the Crane to use their stronghold on a pretty, low impact target.
He does have to be too careful of overcommitting and the Doji Challenger bringing whoever is not present in.
Yeah.
So like that Yojimbo might be dragged in.
Yeah. I think you got to defend with Caillou Envoy here. I think you're just walking into admit defeat right now if you only defend with the keeper. But then this feels like an overcommit. I think the Caillou Envoy is the best thing to put in. You're going to want to sacrifice it as soon as possible anyway to get those 2 cards to help with the rest of the conflicts.
I don't dislike the other keeper as well.
Yeah, that's sort of same principle, right?
Okay.
Like you want to play around admit defeat, but you also don't want to overcommit. Because if I'm Chutereve here, after this defense with the Yojimbo going in as well, I know exactly what I want to do. I want to pull in the Borderlands defender and pass. And go ahead and you got this. This conflict's all yours, buddy. Half your board is bowed. You're left with a total of 2 military and 1 political strength on the board. Yeah. Mozi leads with just taking a fate. Why not? Bitmetal, he can pull in the defender. The defender's ability about not being moved is only applies when the Borderlands defender is in a conflict. If the defender stays home, it absolutely can be pulled in by Doji Challenger. We can pull up the card right here. While this character is defending, currently Borderlands defender is not defending. Yeah, no worries. That is the benefit of having a Crane player. I know all the tricks Doji Challenger has to offer. Short story, there's a lot of them.
So as an aside, I don't think we've seen Way of the Crane. Or if we have, we've only seen one, which is pretty crazy. Mm-hmm. And we can see the Borderland defender getting pulled in.
Yeah.
Text doesn't stop that.
Yep. Yeah, and
13, 12 to 7.
Yeah, it looks like Chutereve has the same thought that I do. If you're going to overcommit to this fight, I'm totally fine losing it. No, we haven't seen court games either. Ooh, Spies of Court. Okay, that's sneaky. Dishonoring, I guess, the Yojimbo, since it's the one that's going away. Yep. I like dishonoring the Yojimbo rather than the keeper to keep that honor up, to keep Voice of Honor off, just in case Chutereve has like a Way of the Crane plus a Voice of Honor, something like that.
Of course, you have to have cards before. Rewind.
Oh, I didn't even notice. Yeah, someone hit the end turn button. Oh god. There we go. Well, I know it was
And there's that Way of the Crane.
Well, we've seen a Way of the Crane and a Court Games now, haven't we?
So that's 2 honor cards gone. Pretty good hits. That's a really good hit for Spies of Court.
Definitely. Oh no, I got an error message from Mozi. Hopefully that's not. I don't see his thing moving. Maybe Mozi's run into some trouble?
Yeah, he's messaging me about how his stuff's going crazy.
Shit. That's less than ideal. Yeah, who knows? Maybe it's... Yeah, it looks like Mozi's disconnected. Whew. Yeah, possibly. Let's try Mozi reconnecting to this first, and if that doesn't work, maybe we go back to Mozi hosting. Currently he was briefly at 65,000 ping there. Now he's down to a more reasonable 74.
Okay, so if we're back, how do you feel? Let me propose this to you: a probing attack water ring with the envoy.
Nope. Fire. I want that fate.
Fate, but the water ring gets you back the Borderlands Defender.
I don't think you ever win that conflict.
But then you're bringing in someone.
You bring in like a Brash Samurai or a Dodoji Norishima.
Yeah.
Not the end of the world.
That could prevent the break.
Honestly, if that's the plan, like I'm okay with winning the fire ring too, because I can put a glory on my an honor on my keeper initiate potentially as a better defender, or maybe dishonor the Brash Samurai, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I did forget about the water keeper though.
That's the other thing.
Which would be water awful. Just straight up awful.
Yeah, no.
Definitely poking attack though.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You got to burn that envoy sometime. And he still brings in the Nurshima, so
yeah,
there's a pretty good chance here he doesn't lose a province.
Brash Samurai alone breaks, right? I guess not against the keeper.
And there's a dishonor coming right now, or I guess no dishonor.
No, there isn't, because he's losing the
draw 2 cards and gains another fate.
Yep. And yeah, he's gonna pop that right now. Smart.
Yeah, it's been a weird game. We've seen 0 watch commanders, and we just now saw Way of the Crane.
Well, sometimes you don't draw your sort of staples. You just draw all the weird one-ofs and nonsense and cheeky stuff that you have in your deck. Oh, not sure I like bringing in the Asami as well, because this has to be a military, right?
Yeah, I guess you got to wonder, is there going to be another attack following this? And it's relatively unlikely. I suppose he did drop 2 cards, so there could be a conflict character there. Water makes sense, because then you can get your keeper, and there might be a second keeper in Chute's discard. So it's fine. Earth Ring also seems good.
I think that's the first keeper we've seen. Chute running the old school barely lit spoiler keepers for style points.
And it's got to hit Manicured Garden again. Don't want to
Oh yeah.
trigger
Oh
Shameful.
yeah, running into Shameful would be just terrible here. And he's already gotten the Fate. This is just free.
Oh yeah. No Asami, turns Brash back on. Doesn't look like a break unless cards are committed. 2-1, soon to be 4-1.
4-2 if he uses a Stronghold.
Absolutely. Yep. Okay. No need to box yet, I guess. Might as well for style. Sword comes out.
Yeah. No,
Did-
yeah, maybe it's better to pass there. Just in case you have a conflict character. I mean, for all we know, Mozi's hand is just blanks. So.
Ugh,
Oh,
that
and
sucks.
there's the break.
And
yeah.
it breaks.
Whew. Yeah, that's rough. And he gets a keeper. Well, I feel like my 100-0 prediction is being vindicated, so I like that piece.
Or maybe at 110.
110. Wow, that's confident. It's like a 10% chance he wins twice.
Yes, I guess that's how that works.
Yeah. But if you look at Chutereve's board, everything but the challenger is sticking around. Whereas if you look at Mozi's board, only the Borderlands Defender is sticking around. So it's going to be real tough to hold on. And even if you have a Rally to the Cause as your stronghold province, just probe it with like a keeper or something the first time, and then hard commit with, if it's Crane, probably political, but right now his board is actually stronger military, sort of just an all-in conflict that you can't really defend against.
Absolutely. I think you don't keep the Pyre here.
I think the Pyre is just going away, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I guess it does. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't keep it even if I had the option, though.
You could hope for like a weird Hida Guardian or maybe a Shu Yasuki, but it's not going to be helpful here. He does lose the Imperial favor. Probably stack military, I think.
I like stacking military. Yeah, I think that's the right call. Yeah, he's only down 3 provinces, 3 fate, and a massive board state. I think you're right, Joe. It's truly anyone's game. Yeah, I kind of feel like this is just the standard Crane snowball where once you get behind, it's really hard to catch back up. Yeah, Tenor, we're mostly being sarcastic. I think most people see the writing on the wall.
We might have another Mozi disconnect.
Oh no!
And there it is.
Yep.
So do you think we're going to see the Slam 5 yet? Is it time?
The Slam 5? Oof. I think it's correct, but I also thought it was correct last turn. So if we didn't do it last turn, like what's changing that he's going to do it this turn?
Yeah, and if you take a look at the board, if he had drawn 4 more cards, he might have been able to win that defense against the Brash Samurai.
Yeah.
Sure, he would have been down, I guess, 4 honor from where he is now, and she would be up at 10. But I think that would be okay.
Yeah. Like, what's the honor doing for you? Like, if you're not drawing cards, you're not going to see an assassinate most likely. You're not winning honor anytime soon. Like, Chutereve's at 6. It's low, but it's safe.
He's got Brash Samurai, so that's going to be 7 when it goes away.
Kakito Sami might get a steal next turn. Like, giving Chute some extra honor isn't actually accomplishing much for Chute. Like I don't think Chute really benefit. Like I don't think the difference between 6 and 10 here is huge, and yeah, you just get yourself 4 more cards to potentially swing a conflict. You know, if you find a conflict character, you get a surprise attack at the end of that turn. With just the Kakita Asami to defend, yeah, it's just.
So first player is going to go to Mozi next turn, which is nice. He can do a probing attack again. Probably don't want to do water, as that may cause Keeper to happen. But now that the Keepers are out, not too bad.
Still feeds a fate, but I kind of feel like Chutereve has all the fate he needs.
Yeah, when you're at 6, it's not a huge like incremental benefit there. So yeah, probe attack might as well. And I think Mozi's still having trouble.
Yeah, looks like from the ping. The chat's talking about the triple Levy play. I'm not sure how I feel about Levy as a card. On the one hand, it kind of feels like it doesn't do anything, but you know, if it lets you, if you steal an honor, you get to just draw an extra card later. If it's potentially just making your deck smaller by sort of pseudo cycling, that's not the worst. And if you ever do force a fate steal, that's pretty good.
Yeah, like if he played it right now, I'm sure he would get a fate from it.
I'd probably give an honor in Chute's shoes. Ooh, reprieve. I don't see that very often. A reprieve on a keeper. I think it makes sense given the board state, but very odd. Very different than what I'm used to.
But hey, 5 political in Crab is really good.
Yeah, that's true.
Still want to see more envoys. Can't get enough envoys. A Witch Hunter would be pretty okay right now. You've got the fodder. You can get more fodder.
Yeah, I think Witch Hunter Envoy is sort of the ideal flip.
I think Crane would love to see Hotaru. I think Hotaru would be a pretty good card at this point.
Oh yeah, you're just begging for Doji Hotaru. Honestly, Asahina Storyteller is really good on this board too. It's going to draw you a card off your Brash Samurai. Oh god, okay, so my hosting is clearly not working.
Yeah, but I think it's Mozi, unfortunately. So if you don't host and Mozi doesn't host, it's all the options.
Well, like if Mozi, like maybe we just have Mozi. Yeah, I don't think it's my hosting is the problem necessarily. What I mean more is that it's just not working. Like, I think the only way we're going to have Mozi stable is if Mozi hosts, but then that creates problems for Chutereve.
Yeah, that's not actually a bad idea to have someone proxy play for Mozi. Have him just call the shots in their own...
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, I can... Yeah, that's not a bad idea at all. Probably should not be me if I'm streaming, but yeah, maybe I sub into solo commentary and you just step in.
Yeah, I could do that. Let me ask Mozi about that.
Yeah, float that idea. Yeah, like if someone from the Twitch chat wants to do it instead, that potentially lets Void continue commentating, which...
Ouch, Joe. He says he doesn't really want to proxy play a loss.
Yeah.
I think we're seeing a restart from the computer for Mozi.
Okay. All right. Well, that is kind of the go-to solution for everything.
Indeed. Turn it off and on again.
Yep.
Try a second time.
Mm-hmm. Well, since we have some time to kill, let's talk about the crab splash. Mozi's on Phoenix. I'm kind of partial to Unicorn.
Interesting. Yeah, Unicorn gives you more card draw, and as a crab, that's something you always want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Spyglass, amazing card. Favored Mount, also pretty good. And then you can also play Captive Audience. That's the thing that I really like about it. The one time I lost to Crab as a Crane player was, Captive Audience got me. Got me real good.
And as you were saying earlier, the Crane matchup is a tough one, and anything that can help you in political, like Captive Audience, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, exactly. And Crab is actually one of the most military slanted clans. Like, people think about Lion, they think about Unicorn. Crab's champion is a 7-2. They have multiple 4-2s, right? Like, they really, really like military conflicts more than they like political ones. It's also it's a clan that can actually play charge, like, sort of reasonably. I still don't love it, but I think it's better in Crab than a lot of other places. They've got a lot of, with especially comboing with Reprieve.
Yeah. And I think favored mount, just movement effects in general, are pretty decent for Crab.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You can undercommit to stuff and then bring people in the favored mounts. With Aichi Wayfinders in hand, that turn one running into a Meditations might have been avoided. And scouting provinces, I think, is probably one of the most important things in L5R that people have not figured out yet.
Yeah, people are defending. I hate getting a 4-cost character for 1 fate so bad. Every time I play decks with charge, that never happens. Like, I draw the charge because, like, you draw cards. Fate phase happens after Dynasty phase, right? So it's like, if I don't have the charge in hand and then I play my Witch Hunter or whatever it happens to be, and then I draw the charge, it's like, oh, oops, no charge for me. Like, charge. Think about it this way: like if, unless you're reprieving, if you charge in like a 4-2, you're getting +4 military for that conflict. Your cards, unless it's like a Steadfast Witch Hunter or something like that, which with additional ability, which sometimes you'll get, and that's value. But Bonsai already does +4 military for a conflict for just 1 honor, whereas charge costs 1 fate, and it requires that you actually have the dude in your dynasty, and that you didn't play him from your dynasty.
I mean, there's also the Casada every once in a while.
Yeah, no, you can charge in Casada, and that's a big swing, but it's really narrow. Like, that's a really narrow circumstance, in my opinion.
Oh, definitely. It's a 2-card combo.
I would probably play 6 Bonsai, but I think Bonsai costing a Fate rather than an Honor is way worse. The other thing is that Bonsai actually works really well against counters. You don't have to pay the Honor if they counter your Bonsai because of how it's worded, like the mechanics of it. Whereas you're paying the Fate no matter what if charge gets countered. Chutereve saying that Wandering Ronin is awesome. I remain skeptical.
All right, are we good? Justin movements.
Looks fine. I'm not saying a crab deck shouldn't run charge. I'm just saying it's not like okay. So a couple things. One, I think charge is absolutely at its best in crab. Like if it's good anywhere, it's definitely crab. And like I still think it's worth playing in crab because there's just so few good conflict cards in the game. Period. Like we're still on 3 core. I would still play charge. I just don't think charge is. Like I don't buy the hype. I don't think charge is as good as people make it out to be. I think it's super narrow. Like the times where it's like sort of the dream scenario and you charge in your Casada and then you reprieve your Casada and then the next turn you flip another Casada and put a Fate on your Casada and all that. Yeah, that sounds really strong. I've never seen it happen.
Okay, but there's also really great points with Vanguard Warrior. If you can charge at a Vanguard Warrior, you get a free Fate later in the turn, and no one was expecting it. Like there's definitely ways where it's good.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying I wouldn't run it in a crab deck. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's that good. And yeah, like so few conflict cards in the game. Like yeah, Joe, I'd say I have a lot of trouble like filling out a 40 card deck with cards that like I end up playing a lot of like really situational sort of like narrow application cards.
Yeah, and that can definitely it ranges from clan to clan.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I know Crane, for example, is probably one of the better off.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like Crane.
So many cards. But...
Yeah, Crane. You kind of do okay, but a lot of the time when I'm making a deck, it's sort of like, okay, what's my filler going to be? Yeah, that's true. Insanity. Charge in Lion is also good. I'd say it's good there, and it's good in Crab. It's also, I guess, situationally good in Unicorn. Just because you have so much that cares about movement, but yeah, I'm not sure why the. Do we need a rewind?
No rewind. I think we're just worried about disconnecting for
okay.
6th time or whatever it is.
Oh shit. Oh, I forgot to promote Mozi. I don't think it's like that important for actually playing the game, but yep. Yeah, like when I say there's few great cards, I mean you have to look at where the best cards are and then compare other ones to those. Like, because like no card exists in a vacuum, right? You have to compare. So, like, Noble Sacrifice is a powerful effect, but it's really narrow. Whereas like Way of the Crane is just always going to be good, right? So it's something like that. I wouldn't call Noble Sacrifice like a great card, but I still have one in my deck because it's like situationally strong. Oh shit! Let's try and recover that. Boop.
All right, we're back, and we see a pretty good flip come for the Crab. We see a Caillou Envoy, a Hida Guardian, and a
another
holding to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, another Funeral Pyre. Yeah, that's kind of what he needs.
Still going to be a tough battle here. At his stronghold, probably a probing attack. Shoot has to know it's rally to the cause. We haven't seen a water province yet, and you could just look at the list.
Yep.
So probably swing in political with the keeper and then hit hard with military. Going to be a little harder now that intimidating Hida's out, but you'd have to do the math to figure out what's really the best option.
Looks like we've got Guest of Honor coming in with 2 Fate. Not a big fan of Guest of Honor. This card kind of feel like it's like you're playing a deck with three event counters. So do you really mind if they play if they play their events? Also, yeah, if your opponent is on like no cards, which Mozi isn't, chances are this isn't actually limiting them all that much. Yeah, I think I prefer Asahina Storyteller to Guest of Honor personally.
Okay, interestingly enough, Chute elects not to bring in the Doji Challenger and pass instead.
Yeah.
I think at this point I'd want to just finish out this game,
Yeah.
but maybe he's got other plans with 2 cards in hand. Hoping for 5 bids, but I guess if Chute goes 5 and Mozi goes 2, or 1, excuse me, might be dangerous. So we see 4 and 2.
Yeah, and I like the decision to go up a little bit more on the honor bid for Mozi, but you know, if you're giving up the honor win, you know, why not just go all the way and go to 5? You know what I mean?
Yeah, not too much of a difference between 4 and 5. And Chute was kind of forced to bid low there for fear of the 1 bid. So here we go. I think probably no pre-conflict actions coming out. And I think we're off Discord voice.
Yeah, they are doing
We're
it
going full chat.
Via chat, which I'm actually my webcam is blocking that right now. I'm going to try something.
Yeah, I guess top left would be the other choice for it. But
I'm going. Oh yeah, I guess that works
yeah.
too. Although that's where the chat is here. I'm going to go bottom. I'm going bottom. Boom! I've moved. I have magical powers.
I would not put it
floating head.
Bottom right. Okay, cool. Fates and honor is important.
Oh, true. Yeah, that's a good point. Ah.
I can't hear you. Is that me or you?
I'm not sure.
Oh, now I hear you.
Yeah,
okay.
Maybe I just didn't have my push to talk down. Yeah, this is better. Yeah, you're right. I forgot I was blocking the bulls.
All right, so yeah, it's over to Mozi to do a probing attack on military. He might go air to bring out a keeper. I could also see fire to maybe dishonor Asami or someone like that.
I think you've got to assume you're losing this conflict, and it's just make sure you get a fate and burn a ring that you don't want them to have. Alternatively, you just like force the defense with the air ring because this would bring a keeper back out. Yeah, and sure enough, the Dadoji Narishma steps up. I think.
And both players pass.
Yeah, I think if I'm Mozi, I'm content to just trade my Kaio Envoy for his Daidoji Narishma and then sacrifice it to the Funeral Pyre. Yeah, pass.
And the burn.
I think you wait on the burn until you sort of need it. Okay, I guess he's going for it now. Just to sort of keep Chutereve honest with like a potential. I guess no way the crab doesn't work here at all because the keeper initiate's still out. Yeah, that's
and Narishma's bowed, so
yeah, that's true too. Yeah, I guess you might as well just grab the cards and sort of get as much information as you can before you make your decisions. Okay, watch Commander on the intimidating Hida, and Chutereve has used 2 let goes so far this game, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So there's a decent chance that's going to stick around.
Yeah, I think he really wanted to see those watch commanders earlier this game when he was really dishonor pressure high. But
then again,
hey,
they just would have eaten the let goes then, right? Like I almost think it's better to draw it late after the Lycos have come out.
I think it's better than Reprieve.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess the Lycos also had like the Lycos that Chutereve did use had pretty good targets as well.
Yeah, I'd say getting rid of Casada was probably worthwhile.
Yep.
So it looks like a probing military attack coming from the Brash Samurai.
I mean, I don't know how probing it is. That's a 6 strength Brash Samurai right there.
Yeah, but you got to break 7, and you've got to expect maybe 1
Yeah.
coming from the.
But still, it does force a defense because you don't want to lose to a random bonsai.
Yeah, but now it's a 4. Now it's a 3.
I guess yeah. If you flip it, yeah. And I think that's what it's really trying to do is just something that can eat the rally, but still be threatening. Because it's 4 strength actually with the favor.
So then you go look for fans, and I guess a political rival would be bad.
Yeah, political rival.
Runs 1.
Yeah, no defense. Yeah, I think political rival is what you're really worried about here. Oh,
yeah, so you got to defend.
Yeah, I don't like the no defense. Like even.
Just shoot, have it.
Oh yeah, favorable ground too. We totally forgot about that. Oh yeah, and they have Asina Artisan. Yeah, this no defense is super risky. Like Chutereve has multiple ways to increase his strength in this conflict. Yeah, I would just favorable ground my guest of honor in immediately. We don't know necessarily that it's game, but the writing seems to be on the wall.
Yeah, he could get up to 8 plus 3, so 13 or 11.
Yeah.
Excuse
I think
me.
you start with the guest of honor though, just to turn off any events, because voice of honor's not live right now.
And here's the political rival.
Yep. I love that card. The more I play with that card, the more I like it.
Yeah, I was originally really repulsed by it. I was like, 3-cost conflict characters, what? But it really does pay for it.
I love that it's 3 cost because I don't have to worry about assassinate, and it lets me just steal passes in the dynasty phase. Like the times I'm second and I just play a Brash Samurai and pass, and I'm just up like 9 fate to 7 on the first turn. Yeah, Court Games doesn't do anything here. And yeah, Mozi saying GG. I guess Mozi just sort of wasn't playing around the board tricks and the possibility of Chutereve having stuff to add. Because yeah, that Court Games doesn't do anything against political rival.
Yeah. Well, GG.
Yeah, good game.
Crab tried to hang in there as long as they could. Unfortunately, Crane did slowly build up that board pressure and take him out with political victory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is. Yeah, it's a tough spot. I'm glad that my prediction was vindicated. It's a real tough spot that Chutereve put him in, because even if you defend here, that's really hurting your ability to hold off the military conflict. Oh, I guess he was going for a display of power, but I think you gotta look at the board state and realize that there's no way you're ever going to get a chance to play that display of power on this conflict.
And he also had admit defeat, which meant he had to put in 2 people.
And he had the Steward of Law for shame combo. Yeah, no, I don't think Mozi had a line here. I think he was just dead no matter what he did.
Mm-hmm.
Which, that's what happens when you're this far behind on board.
Definitely agree.
All right, well, thanks to everyone for sticking through what was a much longer stream than I expected. Glad we were able to finish the game in the end. Apologies for all the technical difficulties that we had. Thank you very much to Void Circuit for joining me in the casting. And thanks to Mozi and Chutereve for the game. And yeah, good luck to Chutereve in the top 4. Yeah, I guess that's it. I'm going to sign off. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching.
All right, thanks for having me.
Peace.